Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. For those of you that are new here, my name is Rochelle. I have a disability and I also read a variety of books. And holy crap, I can't believe it. We are already about at May. And for May, we're going to be doing something a little bit different because I am a co-host for Books with Lexi's Readathon, Escape the Readathon. I'm co-hosting Team Astronomers with Mel and Bo. Peep our cute little bookmark. I absolutely love it. It is so much fun. And my cat Finn already kind of put his mark on it, literally, because he started chewing the corner of this bookmark. But the reason why our TBR is going to be a little bit different for May is because with Escape the Readathon, this readathon is so fast-paced and so quick that I don't really feel like doing a TBR game for this because there's no guarantee that I might be able to get to some of the books I have on my list. Also, just a little bit of a disclaimer, I am a huge reading slump because in April I took a little bit of a break, and because of that I was just taking it a lot easier with reading books and didn't really read a lot, and because of that don't know what mood I'm in at all. So I have a lot of books that are more so hopefuls instead of an actual TBR. I think I have at least 10 plus books in this pile, and I wanted to pick books that would kind of work for each of the different prompts for Escape the Readathon. We have a bunch of different ones that are really great. However, there's no guarantee that we might go to some of these rooms that have those prompts. So I just kind of wanted to go and pick a bunch of different books based off of what moods I kind of feel like I'm in and what might loosely fit for some of these prompts. So let's go over the ones that are in my tentative TBR pile. Also made this cute little badge here for Escape the Readathon. So first one I have here is Half City by Kate Golden. So as some of you know, I was in Cassidy's readathon that she had, and so many people were reading Half City, but I was not able to get to it. I've heard nothing but amazing things about this book, and it's just been on my list to go and read ever since I kind of heard that it was a mixture of Buffy and Winx Club. Those are two things that I absolutely loved, and I'm all about anything that gives me nostalgia, especially in the year of 2026. So this is one that is high up on my list. It is also a book that fits multiple different prompts for this readathon, so this is one that is a high contender on my list. Plus I feel like I'm just going to zoom through this book, and I know the second one already has a release date. I just can't remember at the moment if it's this year or next year. So I do want to get to this one soon so then I can finally get rid of all the FOMO and know what everyone's talking about with this one. Another book that is on my list is To Cage a Wild Bird by Brooke Fast, and this one I have seen a lot of people on booktube talk about as well. It also involves a few tropes that I really love, and as some of you know, for Escape the Readathon there is a prompt that asks you to stick to a few select prompts, and because this book covers a few different prompts that I'm kind of considering sticking to for my 3, I think this one is going to be high up on the list as well, and the fact that it hits multiple different prompts for Escape the Readathon. We'll get Nuggy in frame. Then another one that I am looking at as well is The Book of Azrael by Amber V. Nicole. This is one that I had on my Defend the TBR that was coincidentally picked by Nugget, and I just haven't had the chance to get to it. It is a bit of a chunkier read. As some of you know, page numbers and page count is really something that's important for this readathon, and not so much the books that you read. So this is one that I'm thinking about. It also is blurbed by an author that I really did enjoy, so this one works for multiple different prompts as well. So this is a high contender. It's just maybe a little bit lower on the list because it is such a chunky read. Another book I have here is Dark Matter by Blake Crouch. This is one that so many people were talking about, I want to say when I first joined booktube, and I just never got around to it. It didn't really seem like one I initially would go and pick up. I'm definitely a person that goes and judges a book by its cover, and for me the cover looked cool but it wasn't intriguing enough to pull me in. However, once I heard more people talk about this book, I was like, you know what, this really does seem like it could be up my alley. So this is another one that is a high contender as well. Then I have a few other books that I'm kind of adding to my list. I'm not quite sure which prompts they would fit in 100%. There's a few that maybe they could work, especially one if it's a different genre than the last book that I read. But the one I have here is The Reformatory by Tiana Reeve Dew. This one was also a book that was really talked about on booktube as well, so it would work for this prompt. But another reason why I have this book on my list is because this is a book I need to read for the horror bingo board. I have been so bad about really paying attention to my bingo boards that I'm doing, and I think I have 3 of them, and I'm gonna be adding 2 more on my list because that makes sense. I'm so busy this year, and you know, I just want to keep adding more to do, but I really would like to go and tackle some of the books that I have on my bingo boards this year, especially for this readathon, because I think that's a great time for me to gravitate and pick up certain books. So this is one that is really high up on the list as well. Another one that I have on a bingo board too is Tell Me What You Did by Carter Wilson. This is one that has a few tropes that I'm really interested in and kind of thinking about using as well. So this is high up there. It's also, I think, on my mystery bingo board, if I'm not mistaken. And that one is one that I have honestly been ignoring the most, which is so surprising because I always gravitate towards mystery thrillers, but for some reason this year just has not been it for me. So this is one that I really would like to read. There's also a new book by this author that is a recent release. It's actually going to be releasing, I think, this fall/winter, but I do have an e-arc for it, and that also works for a prompt because I think you have to read a recent release by an author. So that one is also on my list. I can't remember the title of it, so I'll include a photo here, but that is another one that I'm thinking of. But this one specifically right now is because it does fit a spot on the mystery thriller bingo board. Then another book I have here is Polybius by Colin Armstrong. This one, I believe I first technically heard about it on Bookstagram, but then I also heard about it on booktube as well. This one kind of has some of the things that I enjoy the most, especially with being like viruses that are going and hitting everyone, apocalyptic type of things, people losing their minds. The list goes on. I love stories like that, and I just always find it fascinating how people are going to choose to move forward to try to go and survive. Are they going to completely turn into an evil character, or are they going to be someone that completely surprises us and we're going to cheer them on? All of those pieces. So with some of the things in this book, it just really intrigues me. I want to say that I've heard some people kind of say it's a mixture of like Stranger Things and The Walking Dead, but I don't think it specifically has zombies in it, just with people that completely stop acting like themselves and they're so brainwashed. So this is one that I'm also thinking about as well because it does involve a lot of stuff that I just really love, especially in books and also movies. Then speaking of kind of like the apocalyptic stuff that I love so much, another book that I'm kind of thinking about reading is Rust Colored Rain. It's Rack and Ruin Book 1 by Otto Schaefer. This is one that I feel like is an underhyped book. I honestly haven't heard anyone talk about it. The first time I saw it was, I think, in the TikTok shop, and then I completely forgot about it until Charles and I were at a bookstore, and I happened to see it there, and I was like, you know what? That is actually a book I really want to read because zombies, and I love zombies. So this is one I'm thinking about. It's a little bit on the shorter side, and I would kind of like a higher page count, but because I've been in a weird reading mood, I don't really know what I want to read, and zombies are always a good bet for me. I'm always down for a good zombie story, especially, hopefully, if it's not cheesy. Please don't give me cheesy zombies. That's all I ask. So this is one I'm thinking about as well. And another one that's kind of apocalyptic is Frostbite by Angela Sylvain. And this is also an underhyped book as well. I feel like I haven't heard anyone talk about this. This is a book that I first saw when we were at the bookstore as well, and it seems like it's a little bit more of a cheesy story, but still has that apocalyptic type of setting that I love so much. So this could be a fun little palate cleanser, hopefully, and it's apparently set in North Dakota, which intrigues me even more. So we'll see if I do end up getting to this one, but it just seems so fun, and there's also apparently prairie dogs that have this virus, so I'm really curious. It seems so interesting and possibly a little bit silly and goofy. Then a few books that I know at least at first glance, have to do with isolated settings, which is also a prompt. One of them I'm thinking about is Hunted by Darcy Coates. Darcy Coates is honestly one of my all-time favorite authors. I currently have a goal to read all of the books on her backlist, and I want to say I've gotten through at least 8 of her books so far, but there's definitely still a lot more, and honestly I'm not upset about that. But this one has to do with an isolated setting. It seems like there's a girl that was potentially kidnapped and she's running away from people that are trying to come after her. And honestly, I love these types of stories, and Darcy Coates, her books, no matter the length, are just so easy to go and read through. So I feel like this could be a great one for me to start off the month of May in, because this won't really take me any time to get through, and I'll probably fly through the books so quickly. So yeah, this is one I'm also considering as well, especially for that isolated setting, which is one of my favorite book types to read as well. And last hopeful I have is The Caretaker by Marcus Cleaver. This was one of the arcs that I got, I think, in the month of March, and sadly I just wasn't able to go and get to it. But when I was reading the back of this book, I realized that this kind of has to do with a little bit more of an isolated setting that the main character is going to. So I was like, this could definitely work. It couldn't work for the prompt with going to the Oregon coast and never being there before, because I have been over in that area. I love Oregon so much. Honestly, if I could have lived in Oregon, that was a place that was high up on the list for places to choose from. But this would not work for that prompt for me, but it would work for isolated setting. So this is another one that I really would like to read. And I really loved the other book by this author, so I've been really anxious to go and check out another one by them. So this one you might potentially see as well as one of the books that I read for the month of May. So those are the 11 books that I'm kind of considering reading in the month of May. I honestly don't know what kind of mood I'm in, what genre, what topic, any of that I'd like to read. So that list of books that I showed was kind of curated with a lot of different subjects and things that I tend to enjoy, and hopefully one of these ones will help pull me out of my little reading slump and give me a better idea of what books I'd like to read. But I'm so excited for this readathon. I am a tiny bit nervous because I do remember last year just participating in it, that it zoomed by so quickly. So I'm a little bit nervous about that pace, but also so very excited. And honestly, there are so many great co-hosts in this readathon. But honestly, if you are still trying to figure out a team, I say pick Team Astronomers. We are absolutely amazing, not biased at all, but any of the other teams are absolutely amazing, and you will not be swayed any wrong direction no matter what team you go on. But if you are participating in this readathon, please let me know down in the comments below. Possibly go and comment maybe the icon for whichever team you're on, or if you just want to cheer on Team Astronomers, maybe leave like a rocket ship or an astronomer in the comments below. But I'm so excited for this readathon. Thank you again, Lexi, for asking me to be a co-host. And as always, I always wrap up my videos with this reminder to always remember that you're worthy and capable of amazing things. Bye, friends.